Welcome to the Passion for Pencils podcast. In this podcast, we talk about art supplies, pencils, paints, papers, coloring books, inspiration, and much more. This podcast is also an invitation to grab your pencils and paints right now and do some joyful coloring or painting while listening. In this episode, we will talk about the Blue Swift, what is currently on my desk, the most expensive pencils in the world, and I will tell you a little bit about the trip that my husband and I made to this beautiful, beautiful Norway. Thank you so much for commenting on the first podcast. It feels very warm to get a reaction, and I hope we can continue this me talking to you and you commenting back. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, what's on my desk? There is a Blue Swift I am working on, and in Dutch, in my native tongue, we say blauwe schicht. The Blue Swift, and that is the European kingfisher, which has this most gorgeous bluish greenish feathers, and the belly is orangey, reddish, yellowish. It's just amazing. And years ago we had a beautiful encounter with this bird while kayaking, canoeing on the river Lesse in the Belgian Ardennes mountains. There is this gorgeous river where canoeing is really, a lot of people do it there. And we were there in November. So that is a very quiet month. Not many tourists go into the canoes, the kayaks. And we were there with quite a small group, and we were just canoeing on the river. And then this beautiful Blue Swift I saw on the right side, and I recognized it immediately. There was this gorgeous kingfisher. It was fishing along the river, and it was flying with us, so to speak. So we had quite a long time to see it fly a little bit, do some fishing, sitting on a branch. It was such a beautiful, silent encounter with nature. We had a glorious, glorious sunny day that day. It was cold, but blue sky, just lovely. One of the best adventures in nature I've ever had. And that encounter inspired me to pick up a painting of a kingfisher. It is part of the coloring book that I'm working on, and it turns out to be a mixed media painting. I started out with Derwent Inktense, and then I did some Derwent Color Soft, and then a little more Derwent Inktense, and then I had Luminance Pencils, and I had Procolour pencils, so there is quite a lot of art materials in it. It's not finished yet, I'm working on it still, but it's a joyful painting. Another thing that is still here on my desk, it's taking a while, is the pansy painting. I do that one with water-soluble pencils, and it's slowly evolving. This is a painting that I work on once every while. I record it, so eventually there will be a video about it. and it's starting to become better and better, so that's good. So I'm working on coloring books. It started out with an idea to make one coloring book, splashing watercolor. I want to make a coloring book, coloring pages that allow you to just splash around with color, with watercolor. And while designing it, I found two types of drawings that I really like to do. One is the splashing thing, and that takes a lot of designing for the coloring pages to work. And the other one is animals, and that's something new for me. I haven't done that many animals yet, and I really like it. So the kingfisher is one that I do. On vacation back in Norway, I did a tiger's eye. You can see the painting on Instagram. Really like it. And before that, I did some sort of an eagle. It's on Instagram too. Really nice. So now there are two ideas for coloring watercoloring books, and I intend to proceed with both ideas. Well, in order to make those coloring books work, I have a little bit of a wish list. Things that I want to see in nature before I actually start to paint it. And one of those things, animals, that I really want to see live in nature in the Netherlands is a wolf. So that is one of my goals the next couple of months, I think, because we have a couple of years ago, wolves started to find the Netherlands, and it is said that this summer, at least 40 new cubs have been born in, if I'm well informed, 8 or 9 wolf packs. I think that's quite a lot for a small country like the Netherlands. So I think there's a good chance to find a wolf. I would love to see it. Talking about coloring books, for me the coloring journey and this whole passion for pencils journey, it all started with a friend telling me that there was a coloring book for adults. I had no idea that that was a thing until she mentioned it, and she was talking about Johanna Basford's Secret Garden. So I went out to the bookshop, I found it, and I fell in love immediately. Finally, I found a book, a coloring book, not being filled with the mandalas, although I can see that people can have great fun with mandalas coloring, but that was not my cup of tea. I wanted other types of drawings, and Johanna Basford had the perfect coloring book for me, so I bought it. I could finally use my glorious colored pencils, Bruinzeel design pencils. From one thing led to another. It's just been a very nice journey so far. So I did a little bit of research. Johanna Basford, she's a Scottish illustrator. She does a lot of hand drawing, mainly black and white, and she uses her style for coloring books, wallpapers, illustration, for all sorts of products, and also for famous brands. I believe she made a cup for the coffee, let me think, Starbucks, yes. And she was appointed officer in the Order of the British Empire. Now, that is a great honor, actually. So, well, congratulations, Johanna. I thought her coloring book series started with The Secret Garden, but that was actually not the case, as I found. Johanna's Christmas was her first coloring book, but the first book that I got was Secret Garden, and later on she sent me Johanna's Christmas. I did a little bit of coloring in it, but her other book, Enchanted Forest, I really, really enjoyed also. Magical Jungle, wonderful. Lost Ocean, that's a little bit out of my league because I don't know much about fish, ocean, the sea, stuff like that. I'm more mammals, plants, birds, but it's a glorious book as well. And after that, more books came. She's still working on new books, if I am well informed. So I'm looking forward to see what Johanna's direction will be. If I'm well informed, then she has sold over 25 million books. That's quite a lot. Most of the time I take a coloring book with me on vacation, and I did that too this time when my husband and I went to Norway. It was The Flower Year by Leila Duly, but I have to admit I did not do much coloring, and I didn't do much painting also, and that has a reason. Norway is so gorgeous, it's so beautiful, there's so much to see. Nature-wise, there just wasn't enough time to do a lot of coloring and painting. But I did take some stuff with me, and what I took with me was Derwent Inktense pencils, Derwent Procolour coloring pencils, and I took a watercolor set with me. And I made 2 watercolor sketches en plein air, so sitting outside, sketching the landscape. And the first one that I made was on a beautiful place. It was on a lookout point in a fjord, Lise Fjord, and that is the fjord where the famous pulpit rock Preikestolen is situated. We had a glorious day there, and I sat down on that lookout point and sketched that gorgeous fjord. Another area that I sketched was was also a fjord, but it was not blue sky back on that day, so everything turned a little bit grayish, bluish, greenish. And then I made a tiger's eye painting, mixed media. It was I started out with Derwent Inktense and I finished it with the Derwent Procolours. I did that in a couple of days when the weather was not that good. That is a risk when you go to Norway, and I think we were quite lucky. We have had the most glorious sunny days, but of course there were a couple of days that were rainy, and then everything turns grey. Everything loses its colors, it seemed. And before going on vacation, I was looking tips for a color scheme. Which colors are suitable for painting Norway? And I couldn't find anything. And when we were there, I realized, okay, the best tones you can use are muted grayish tones. Now that I'm saying it, I think there is a Derwent set. It's not tinted charcoal, but something like that. Tinted graphite. All the grayish tones, that would be perfect for the more cloudy days there. A couple of areas that I want to mention where we have been in Norway that was so wonderful. It started out our trip in the south, and we went to a hiking spot, a nature area called Skralia, and that was absolutely amazing. So amazing. They have a waterfall that, it's not really a waterfall, but it is a stream that slides down a very steep, slick rock mountain. It was so beautiful. And then you see that stream, that river sliding down, and then you, beyond that river, you can see the fjord, and beyond the fjord there is a couple of low hills, and beyond the hills you can see the North Sea up until the horizon. It's really, really beautiful. The heather was blooming. It was just gorgeous. And we also visited Stavanger, the city of Stavanger. It's a very, very nice city. It was raining, but that was okay. We had a great dinner. Asian salmon I ate, was wonderful. Before going to Stavanger, we did the hike to Pulpit Rock, and that was quite interesting. They advised to start early because we were there on a Saturday, and then a lot of tourists from the city of Stavanger come to Pulpit Rock by bus to do the hike, because it's a very famous hike. So the advice was start early. So we started around 7 a.m. and we were not alone at that early hour. So, but when we went up, it was okay. There were people, but it was okay. But then when we went back, all the busloads of people that came up, it was amazing. So many people, and it was raining and storming, and they all had to come. It was really, we were so glad that we started early. It was a wonderful hike. I'm very, very glad we did it. Beautiful. Pulpit Rock is just beautiful. Very, impressive. After visiting Stavanger, we went up to the north by all sorts of means, actually. There was bridges, because the west coast of Norway, there are a lot of islands that you have to hop on from one island to another in order to get going. So there were bridges, but also ferries. Very nice. It was really nice. And, beautiful. Bergen. The city is just glorious. I love it. We had wonderful weather. We did hiking. We went up the mountain with there is sort of a train going up. It's really nice. After Bergen, we traveled eastwards into the land of the fjords. That was really beautiful, and it's quite amazing to realize that you are, let's say, 100 kilometers inlands, and you still smell salty water, because it's all seawater in the fjords. It was really amazing. We visited Hardangervidda National Park with a gorgeous, gorgeous waterfall called Vøringfossen. I can highly recommend that area. We saw lots of waterfalls in the fjord country. It was overwhelming sometimes. We hiked to a glacier, which was quite strenuous, but we managed to do it. Well, for my husband, that's not a problem at all. But for me, I'm not so very, how to say it, I'm not a very athletic type, so, but we managed to do the walk, and it was beautiful. So, yeah, it was just a gorgeous, gorgeous vacation. And now that we are back, there are a lot of things in the agenda, things planned. But what I'm looking forward to is decorating the living room. So still, again, creative things, but this time it is decorating the living room. I started doing that last year, but it needs more work, so I'm going to do that. And well, in autumn it's always beautiful in the Dutch forest, so I am intending to go there a couple of times, because I'm on a special mission. I want to see the wolf in the wild. I did a little bit of research already. I know where I can find it, I think, but it's still a very large area. So I need a couple of attempts to find that beautiful animal. It's living in the wild now here in the Netherlands. Very, very exciting. Not for everybody, but I find it very exciting. Another thing that I need to do is do a lot of organizing throughout our entire home. There are these piles of stuff everywhere. Also in the Passion for Pencils headquarters. So I will need to do a little bit of organizing here as well. I have so many pencils already, but I still want more. And one of them is Derwent Lightfast that I am having on my wish list. And it made me wonder, what is the most expensive pencil in the world? Because Derwent Lightfast is quite expensive. So I did a little bit of research to see what is exactly the most expensive one in the world. And well, the answer is it depends where you live on the planet. There are 3 pencils that are absolutely one of the most expensive ones, and it depends on where you live in the world which of the 3 is the most expensive one. And I'm talking about Holbein, that's a Japanese pencil brand, then Caran Luminance from Switzerland, and Derwent Lightfast from the UK. So yeah, really it is it's one of these 3 pencils that are most expensive. But I have to say one thing about these 3. 2 of them are really, really very, very high quality. One of them has a little problem with the light fastness of the pencil. Now, if you are not a professional artist, this whole light fastness thing is not much of a big deal for you. But for a professional artist who is making art with colored pencils to hang on the wall, this light fastness thing actually can be a very important thing. Caran Luminance and Derwent Lightfast are very light fast, and it has been checked with testing, and there is a pencil society, the American Pencil Society I believe, who did their own testing, and these Luminance and Lightfast pencils, they are great. The Holbein pencils seem to not have the same standard when it comes to light fastness. And there are others on the internet who did a little bit more research about it. I believe it's Lisa from the YouTube channel Lacry Fine Art who had a video about it. So I would advise you, if you want to buy one of the most expensive pencils in the world, go for Luminance or Light Fastness, because those 2 pencils, they have the whole package, including very, very light fast. Well, this is it for this second podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to work on a 3rd one, and I hope I will be able to get back to you very soon. Bye bye.